This is the plaintiff, Leslie Brooks. She says she hired the defendant to move her out of Staten Island and to South Carolina, and his careless movers damaged a lot of her belongings. That's right. She should hire better quality movers because they cost her $3,040 worth of broken things she needs to replace. That's why she's suing for just that. This is the defendant, Jeffrey. He says he moved all of the plaintiff's belongings into a storage unit in South Carolina, and she witnessed her belongings being brought out of her Staten Island residence and watched everything go into the storage unit. Then a year later, she calls complaining his guys did over $3,000 worth of damage? That's preposterous. Oh, her? No way. He's accused of breaking things up. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,700 for the money he's still owed on the move.
All parties, please use your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Mineo presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. All right, Ms. Brooks, you are suing Mr. Jeffrey for $3,040 that you say he owes you for destroying a lot of your belongings during a move. You are counterclaiming against her $1,700 and a discount you'd given her a year earlier that now you're mad and don't want her to have. All right, let me hear from you first.
Yes, Your Honor. On August 16, 2021, my sister gave me some information about Jeff having a moving company and that he had moved some stuff from my grandmother's house to her home and that everything had went well. So she gave me his number. I called Jeff. He came to my home and did an assessment of the belongings that were going to be moved, which was my whole entire apartment.
And what was he going to charge? And move to where?
From Staten Island, New York to South Carolina.
To South Carolina. All right. So, and what was the quote he gave you?
He told me it would be $2,500 for the move. Okay.
And this was how many bedrooms?
It was a 5-bedroom apartment, but one of the bedrooms.
5-bedroom or 5-room?
It was 3 bedrooms, but he moved the living room,
right,
the kitchen, and my bedroom.
All right, so go on.
So when he came with a female first. I don't know who the female was, but they walked around, they looked at my property and whatnot, and they said that, okay, they could do it. Jeff then came back with a gentleman. That him and the gentleman is the persons that packed up my stuff.
Oh, so you required packing as well for that fee?
That was a part of the package.
So you weren't packing, like, in other words, you didn't pack your kitchen, they packed it?
Right.
I got it, okay.
They packed my kitchen.
All your clothes, everything?
Yes, except for 4 bins that I had put, like jeans and sweaters that I had of my own. I had already packed that because when he came, he said I didn't have to do that. Okay. So I just stopped at that point. I didn't pack anything else.
Okay.
So when he came back with his son and his son's friend. They were like teenagers. And so
How old were they?
My son's 19.
Okay, go on.
And so he and his son's friend took my things and they were packing it onto the truck. I didn't see anything that was wrong, like for me to stop him and say, you know, you're not doing this right or that's not right. I did witness him wrap some things with the plastic wrap and tarp, like a cloth tarp that goes over furniture. And so that day, everything seemed to go okay, which was on the 17th of August, 2021. Jeff left with my things because I was flying down. He was driving the truck down. So when we got to South Carolina, I met him at my storage unit. He was with a different female. So they were moving things out. I had just had a heart procedure, Your Honor. So it was very, very hot that day. So I wind up sitting in my daughter's car because she's the one that picked me up from the airport. I'm sitting in my daughter's car. They're moving, him and the female are moving my things into my unit. Never went back into the unit for anything until August 25th, 2022, to move my stuff out because we now have a home. We bought a home.
Okay, so you don't inspect any of the things. It stays in storage a year. And the next time you see your stuff is a year later when you have other movers who are going to move that stuff to your home that you bought.
Right, it was one mover that actually showed up. It was supposed to be two, but only one showed up. So my daughter's friends, there was two of them, they moved my stuff out of it onto the truck that the mover came with.
Because the mover was just one person.
Right.
Okay.
And he needed help.
Okay.
My bedroom.
So the other two people who helped out were how old?
They're in their late 30, 40 years old.
Okay. And men or women?
One was a wife and a husband.
Okay.
Man and a woman.
And they weren't movers, right?
No, they weren't movers.
Okay, they were just helping out. And then what happens?
They only moved like boxes. They didn't move any furniture.
So would the one guy who showed up move the furniture?
Like the wife and the husband didn't.
Right, I know, but so the one guy alone moves the furniture, twirling it like a basketball?
No, the husband and the gentleman who came picked up the heavy stuff, like the bed and stuff like that. But so I'm there. I'm watching how they're moving my things. Never once did they drag, drop, squeeze, anything. They brought it to my home.
How did they bring it to your home?
In the truck.
Did you ride in the truck?
I rode in the car behind it.
Okay.
We pull up to my house. We have a carport that down in the den area outside is the carport. We pull up into that area. Well, they pulled the truck up into that area and moved directly into the den area, which is on the ground floor. They didn't have to go upstairs with the furniture. They moved everything into the den, and a lot of that stuff is still in the den to this day. So as I'm unpacking, Your Honor, I noticed my dryer was the first thing that I noticed that was damaged. So I said, what in the world happened to my dryer? My daughter then said to me, Jeff, when I saw your dryer, Mom, when he took it off the truck and it was broken, and I said, what happened to my mother's dryer? He in turn told my daughter, I told your mother about that already. I said, Jeff never said to me anything about damaging my dryer. I immediately called him about the dryer. That was the first thing. And he said to me, I didn't have that conversation with your daughter, but go ahead and order the dryer and I'll pay for it. I couldn't order the dryer because he didn't give me any financial information to pay for the dryer. I wasn't going to pay for it because when you order it, you have to have a credit card or something to pay for it.
Right, or you can just show him which one you picked out.
Well, I then sent him the invoice of what the dryer looked like, how much it cost, and even what I paid for it when I purchased it. I sent that to Jeff. He didn't have a problem with paying for the dryer.
How much was the dryer?
The dryer was altogether, I paid $7 and change because there was a warranty on it, but I only charged Jeff the original price without any warranty.
Which was what?
Which was $539, I believe it was.
Okay.
And so...
what was wrong with the dryer?
The whole knob of the dryer was snapped completely off, the dial that sets the... And it was full of scratches, and it was just tore up, Your Honor. And so...
how old was the dryer?
The dryer was about a year old.
Okay, so go on.
And so then, as I'm going on, I'm noticing other damages. The next damage I noticed was my headboard and my footboard to my bedroom suite. On the corner of the bottom footboard, on the right-hand side, it was like somebody drug it, deep grooves on the top of it. Then I noticed at the top of the headboard, like here's the headboard, on the same side, there's grooves like this, like it hit something, like really hard. Then on the bottom leg, on the same side, there's like a chip missing out of the bottom footboard. Then on the railing part, like this part of the frame, there's a chip missing out of that. So anyway, I told Jeff about the damages to the headboard, and I told him that with my dresser, inside the dresser, there was a jewelry, like a little piece that sits in the dresser that you could put jewelry in.
So like a velvet divider.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that wasn't there. That was missing.
Okay.
I don't know how, Your Honor. I just know
nobody else can
there.
even use it because it fits that drawer.
It fits that particular drawer.
All right.
And so after I noticed that, I said, okay, I'm gonna call him about this. And then it was my freezer. I have a big freezer, Your Honor, that I purchased also in the same year. All of these items was purchased in 2020.
Then you notice the television. How do you notice the television?
Well, I plugged it in.
And what'd you see?
It was like something was pressing up against it like this, and it bust on the inside.
So
it was like liquid, like
yeah.
because it's an LED TV.
Yeah. And what was wrong with the freezer?
The freezer on the lid, on the side of it, has so many like deep scratches, like it went down to the paint.
Okay. And then missing clothes and sheets.
And my television stand. On my television.
And your television stand.
The legs were ripped completely out. It didn't fall, it didn't dent. They were ripped completely out. I even sent
What's the airfare you're suing for?
Because in order for me to file a claim, I had to go back to New York.
Why didn't you just do it online?
I didn't do it online because, Your Honor, I don't know how. I didn't know how to do it online.
Why don't you learn how to do it online instead of taking a $600 trip to New York?
Well, Your Honor,
that you want him to pay for. I don't care how many $600 trips you take. I'm just saying that you're asking me to order him to pay for. Background check and then $900 for punitive damages.
The punitive damages is because when I saw my television stand, Your Honor, I knew that Jeff did not take care of my things and that was a deliberate act. If you look at the bottom,
you think he was trying to ruin your stuff?
That particular item, to me, when I looked at it, Your Honor, you could see the anchors that are in the legs of the TV stand are still in the legs. It was ripped out, and if you look at the bottom of it, you could see where it was ripped out.
You think that he or one of his people said, let's ruin her TV stand and rip these out?
I think that maybe they had a problem with trying to fit it in somewhere.
Well, then that's a different thing. That's negligence. Punitive damages is for when somebody deliberately does something, which are the words that you were using 1 minute ago.
Yeah.
So you think that he or someone he works with literally said, I know what we'll do. Let's ruin Ms. Brooks' TV stand and rip the legs out.
That's what it looks like to me.
All right, let me hear from you, Mr. Jeffrey.
First of all, Your Honor, she didn't have a lot of stuff, okay? I normally do 26-foot trucks and bigger. I ordered a smaller truck because none of her stuff wouldn't fill up a truck. So basically what I did to load her truck, it was floor loaded through the whole truck.
It was what?
Floor loaded. That means nothing had to go on top of anything to load the truck up. Everything was floor loaded. She had no couches. The only furniture she had was her bed and the TV stand.
Did you take apart her bed?
Yes, I took apart her bed. But for the damage she said I did, there's no possible way I did that. What she's moving out of, everything fits right out the building, right inside. When I delivered it to her, her daughter was standing right there as I'm bringing the stuff out. How I know she was standing right there.
Was the furniture wrapped or something?
Yes, it was wrapped. I have moving blankets. I'm a professional mover. I've been doing it for 26 years.
Okay.
I have moving blankets. I have bubble wrap.
How old are you?
I mean, 40.
Go ahead.
All right. I have moving blankets, bubble wrap, dollies.
How was the bed moved?
The bed was moved. I took the headboard off, took the footboard off, side rails, middle part off, wrapped it, shrink wrapped it.
Wrapped it and then shrink wrapped it.
I shrink wrapped the mattress. As far as the headboard and the footboard, that goes in moving blankets. So if you're moving it, if it does bang, it don't get a scratch. I have moving blankets on it.
Okay, so is there plastic on that or not really?
No, it's just tape and moving blankets.
Tape and moving blankets.
Right.
All right.
So everything went in the truck fine, perfectly. We get down to South Carolina.
Was there movement? Like, was the truck too big anyway?
No, I got a smaller truck just for her stuff.
Okay.
So it would fit. I got a certain truck just for her. I know I don't have to stack nothing on top of nothing. She was the only one that moved down there. She's like a friend of the family, so I didn't even charge her anything like that. When we got down
Wait, what do you mean you didn't charge her? You didn't charge her in advance?
Right, I didn't charge her in advance, and I didn't charge her no normal price.
That was risky and stupid, but
yeah, exactly. But I learned a lesson. But when we got down there, I was there waiting for her. When we was offloading, her and her daughter was standing there, watching me bring the stuff off because some of the certain stuff that I took off, she told me to do her a favor and put it back on the truck to take it to her daughter's house where she's moving to.
Did you charge her extra for that?
No, I didn't. So I put everything inside the storage. Her daughter was there. Everything's fine. Go deliver the stuff to her daughter's house.
How much stuff did you deliver to the daughter's house?
I think it was basically her clothes, and I think the food she had in the deep freezer. We took it out and I left it and I put it to the house. So now a year and a half later, she calls me. She tells me, "Oh, Jeff, I just moved my stuff in the house and I got damages." I said, "Okay, well, it can't be on me because I didn't move your stuff." She said, well, no, the moving company I just hired. I said, you telling me you hired a moving company. I said, now I'm professional now. So a professional, when you go to the storage room, before they move anything, they check for damages. So if you hired a real moving company,
they're not going to do that. Come on.
They check. No, that's what
they're not going to check. It's all wrapped up already for them. They're just going to shove it in the.
No,
the van.
It wasn't wrapped. I took my blankets back.
Oh, you took all your blankets back?
Yes, I took my property stuff back. I took that off.
So how was it put in the storage room?
Basically, she had a 10 by 5, and she had enough room just to put it on the wall, stand on the wall next to me.
So I'm just trying to envision it. So there's a bunch of boxes.
Right.
You've packed up all her stuff.
Right.
How much did you get paid?
25.
And you're being sued for how much?
I think 3,000 or something.
$3,040. All right. You unload the stuff. You drive to South Carolina. You unload the stuff in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. In terms of her furniture, you take all of your tarps back because you need them.
Yes.
And then you put and she's there.
She's there.
And you put everything in.
Inside, nice and neat. She's there. She watched me close it. She has the lock in her hand. If it wasn't her, it probably was her daughter. Watch it close. Okay. So I'm trying to explain to her, you can't tell me that I put the damage that you showed me. There's no possible way that I did those damages inside the truck because I didn't put nothing on top of your stuff. Now, what I explained to her was how I know what you did, because what you told me you was doing. Your daughter was moving. You moved with your daughter from right there. She was going to get a house. They got the house a year later. You hired somebody, not a company, somebody to come pick the stuff up. Y'all loaded your daughter's house up, then went to the storage and put your stuff inside at the same time. So when they put their stuff in at the same time, them people probably did that damages, not me. I'm not reliable for it.
Not liable, not reliable.
Liable for it.
You're reliable.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says the defendant is a terrible mover, shouldn't even be allowed to do business because he broke a lot of her stuff. But the defendant says the woman called him a year after the move, complaining he broke her stuff, and he says it was the other movers who cleared out her storage unit, so she should go after them. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Who's the lady with you?
That's my mother.
Okay. Just here for moral support?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you, Ms. Brooks, how do you intend to prove that the damage was done by him a year ago and not by the whatever, I don't know if it's a company or a guy you hired, but whoever it was, pretty unprofessional because they came alone to do a move and you had to press two friends into service. So how are you going to prove that your friends who aren't professional movers and this guy who doesn't seem too professional, who you hired, who showed up alone, how are you going to prove that all this damage happened at his hands and not theirs?
Your Honor, when Jeff put my stuff in storage, he charged me $75 to keep it wrapped. He never unwrapped anything that he wrapped. Everything that this man put in my storage...
Is that accurate? Does that ring any bells?
No.
It's the truth.
Okay, so now you've got a lawsuit against her for $1,700. Why?
Because I had to get a lawyer, contact my lawyer, because before I got this here, I got a letter from court. So I had to give it to my lawyer. And
did you pay your lawyer $1,700?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because who's the lawyer you gave it to?
That was my lawyer, my personal lawyer for my company.
Okay, so where's the $1,700 you are?
That's basically what was the rest of the discount I gave her. So I said, so she wants to bring me to court, and I stole this, and I broke this.
Stole
and
this?
That.
Wait,
because she said she had stuff missing. Clothes that's missing. Well, I don't know. So I don't need none of her clothes. My kids don't. I'm a family company. It's my son that was there with me.
Okay.
So how it's moved? There's no way I could have bumped anything.
Okay.
She moved out of her apartment.
Let me just say several things.
Okay.
Number one, I don't care how careful you are. I've had a lot of moves, and even when people are careful, because I think that movers are they're not trying to damage my stuff. I don't think they're deliberately taking the legs, ripping the legs off my TV stand. But I've had damages during moves, and it's just one of those things that happen.
The damage she showed
but here's my question to you: did you have a written contract with this lady?
No, because she's family.
Okay, she's not family. You had never met her before. That is a very, very bad practice.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, because in the contracts that you sign, what is there about insurance and all that?
26 per pound per article.
That's right. So you're no matter what, your liability would be limited by what exactly.
Yeah.
Which is what every mover does, because you all get your, whether your lawyer gave you that or you found it on the internet, everybody has the same contract. Right. You don't do any moves, much less one to South Carolina, without having the written contract. That's just silly, especially for someone who you say has been moving since apparently you were 14 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all right. Ms. Brooks,
I can explain something to you.
I'm trying to. Who is it that you hired to do the move to your daughter's house?
I didn't hire the person. My daughter hired.
Was it a friend?
It wasn't a friend that she hired, Your Honor. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know the person that she hired. But I know that it was somebody that she called on the phone and they sent somebody. They did a contract over the phone and they sent somebody out.
How do I know that they didn't ruin your stuff in the truck by the way they packed it and things were hitting against you? Oh, by the way, were your daughter's things in that truck too?
No.
Okay, see, here's the problem. You are the plaintiff when you come into court, and you have the burden of proof. You have to know this. Your daughter probably told you that's why your daughter's nowhere around here. But you have to know that you have the burden of proof when you come to court. You've got to prove that he damaged your stuff. And how are you proving that when not only has a year passed, which already makes it tough, because, you know, I don't know what happened in that year.
Right.
But also another mover who is so unprofessional that he doesn't bring the second guy, and you have to press 2 non-movers into service, and you're going to tell me that that you're able to prove that it didn't shake around in that other trip when you were moving in? How are you going to do that? Even if I accept what you're saying, that it's all wrapped up still from him,
right?
How are you going to prove that it didn't get damaged in the truck by the way it was loaded?
Your Honor, if you look at my sofa, that is not a shaken thing. That is scrape, rips, and tears in the back of my sofa.
How did it happen?
And it
happened in a move, is what you're
right.
So how do I know which move it happened in? So I don't know what you're saying. How is it that means it was that move and not the other move?
Because, Your Honor, when the person moved my sofa and my love seat out of the unit, it had the tarp that he's talking about, the cloth wrap over it. Huh?
Yeah, so what?
Right. So when
because didn't it have that tarp when it came out of your apartment?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so then when did it happen? So it happens through the tarp, right? Or it happens because there is no tarp. Those are the only 2 options. Because if you're saying it didn't look that way in Staten Island, and you watch him wrap your stuff, you're literally telling me, I know it's not the second guy because the stuff was wrapped. Well, then how's it the first guy because the stuff was also wrapped? You have no way to prove this case. None. No, we're done. I've given you as much floor as I can give you. I'm sorry. There is literally no way that you can prove this case. And you are clearly not going to get on your counterclaim any money because you don't get to complain later that you gave somebody a discount you regret. You mishandled this from the beginning. Everything should have been in writing. Then the waiver would have been in there.
I show you
But you're literally taking a move to South Carolina and not putting anything in writing. Yeah. You don't sound like a guy who's been doing this for 20-something years. So on your lawsuit against him, 0, and on his lawsuit against you, also 0.
But, Your Honor.
All right, both sides. Hold on right there, please. Hold on.
Okay.
So it's a 0-0 tie here in the People's Court. Nobody gets anything. Let's see what the plaintiff has to say about it. Ms. Brooks, talk to me. How do you feel about the judge's decision?
Well, I definitely understand what the judge was saying as far as proof goes about the, my furniture being wrapped and when did the damage actually happen. No, I couldn't say, emphatically that it happened in Staten Island. I know it did. Because when I got to my unit and I took everything out, the damages was there. It was not there when Jeff came to my apartment. It was there after he touched my things. But you know what? It's all good. The judge is the judge. She saw what she saw. I couldn't prove who actually, the professionalism as far as the other movers was concerned. So, it is what it is. But, I just thank God that she listened to my case. I know that Jeff has to live with his conscience. I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you very much. All right, let's see what Jeffrey has to say. He's the mover who's been at this a long time. He says he didn't do the damage. Jeffrey, what do you think of the judge's verdict?
I like it. It's pretty good. Hey, listen, I've been doing this a long time, and I've been moving her family a long time, and she's the only one that said I did something. So I'm very professional. I've been doing it a long time. Only claim I ever had was with this lady right here.
And you didn't get your $1,700 in your countersuit.
No, I didn't get the $1,700.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. And with that, we'll bring this case to a close. Harvey?
Doug, best advice, take pictures as soon as the move is over and don't wait.
My neighbor had a wild goose as a pet, and it attacked me. It grabbed my ankle. I fell into a hole and broke my elbow and collarbone. Can I sue him for medical bills? I'm assuming she means the neighbor, not the goose.
Right. Yes, of course, she can sue. And I mean, this sort of thing probably happens more often with dogs than with geese.
Yeah.
But if someone's pet gets in your path or knocks you down or does something to you that's going to cause you to get hurt through no fault of your own, chances are you're going to have a potential claim, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd like to know a little more about the facts. Like,
right.
Is this really a pet goose?
Right.
And did the goose come onto her property or to common area, to the public
Where
street?
And how did it happen?
Where and how it happened? Was a goose in the house? Was she taunting the goose?
Right.
I need to know a little more about.
Listen, have you ever been attacked by a goose?
No, I know they're mean.
Okay. They can be super mean, especially when they're nesting or they have goslings.
Yeah,
around.
exactly.
And,
Was she going to the nest of the? Who knows what the circumstances are? But generally, yes.
I've been on golf courses where a goose or a swan kind of went at me because I got too close looking for my golf ball that I hit in the water, probably.
Yeah.
And there's not too many things.
What'd you do?
I ran away.
Like a little girl?
Which is exactly. There's nothing more foolish looking than a man running from a goose or a swan, but they get really vicious.
No, they're vicious. Yeah.
But I would say in this case, you can make a claim, and the guy better take out his checkbook because his goose is cooked.
His goose is cooked. I knew something terrible was coming.
Sorry about that.